going to pray for the prayer cards in just a moment here, but I want to just address some stuff. I mean, maybe you guys are not, maybe you're not online or whatever, and it's even complicated to even sometimes bring this stuff up because political assassination today, and I've already kind of seen some of the response where like, oh, well, you're going to talk about that guy, but you're not going to talk about the school shooting. You're not going to talk about this other thing that happened or this other person that was killed. It's just a mess. And I feel it just like anybody else does, whether it's, this guy, Charlie Kirk today, who's assassinated, or sometimes something else. And I'm like, man, this is such a horrible tragedy. How are people like scoffing and laughing, having the time of their lives? I feel that anger. I feel that anger just well up in me. And I see other people responding, and they're like, oh, you're going to laugh? You think that's funny? You think that that's like a worthy payback? Well, on your little profile over here, it says you're from this little town. That's not too far from where I live. And all these threats going around and all this like terrible stuff. And man, well-meaning people, lovely people, start talking like as if the idea that our response to monstrosity should be to become monsters ourselves. That's foreign to the Jesus that tells us hard things. We give our life to this Lord of our lives, right? Sometimes that's easy when things are going well, but when it's tough, where the rubber meets the road, to become a monster ourselves is foreign to the Jesus that tells us to love our enemies. It's just disturbing. And then just to look at you look at the year, or even the last couple years, and it seems like every couple of months, it's almost like more and more and more. It's violence and anger, and we hate that group, and we hate that group, and other people lost in the middle, and confusion and gender confusion. Who am I? Identity crisis stuff, schizophrenia, mental illness, all this crazy stuff, schools and vulnerability, innocent people, unarmed people being attacked and murdered left and right and whatever. It's just disturbing. And people want to blame this and blame that. And yes, there are guilty parties in this stuff for sure. But I think it's important to remember that even beyond that, this is not like some great conspiracy where it's like the Illuminati or the Jews or whatever that it is. It's like the great conspiracy of Satan, asserting his power over a fallen creation through people who are darkened, who don't have the light of Jesus. They do not know. They're godless. Many people lost and godless. Andrea was in YWAM, and at this base in YWAM Youth with a Mission, we would meet people from all over the world, and there was people from all over the world. It wasn't just an American thing. We knew people there that were from places in Africa, and they were orphaned as a child when like the neighboring tribe came in and massacred their parents with machetes in the middle of the night, and this kid escaped into the weeds and survived. This stuff happens all over the place because this is a fallen world. There is sin in this world, but Christ is and remains the only hope for this world. And the same God that changed Saul's heart, this guy who persecuted and had Christians killed, the same God that changed his heart and turned him in the complete opposite direction. He repented of his sin, and he became a great voice and apostle for the same Jesus that he had been going after. That same God that changed Saul's heart is the same God who is asking us, literally commanding us to pray for our enemies. In the Sermon on the Mount, It's like his greatest, often considered his greatest message. I think they're all equally great. But Sermon on the Mount, his most popular perhaps. He says, but I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That's got to mean something to people who have given their life and called him the Lord of our lives. And I think it's important to remember in perspective that this hope that we have is something that goes beyond this existence. It's actually something bigger than our flesh and blood lives. That our hope is not in this mortal world. It belongs to something much greater and bigger. So tonight we wanted to praise the Lord and worship the Lord because he's worthy. He's worthy. Even if the gates of hell are trying to prevail, it doesn't matter. He's worthy of our praise. We believe that the Lord still answers prayers. We're going to stand in it. We're going to stand in it forever. The Lord answers prayers. The Lord still works. The Lord still hears the prayers of his people. The Lord still desires that we do with crazy sounding things that sounds foreign to our ears, like pray for our enemies. The Lord is still possible, still is able to change even the hardest of hearts. And you know, so many of you know because you were those hard hearts, lost in the darkness, anti-Christ even in our times. And the Lord changed even our hearts and says, pray for your enemies because there's hope.